I, Bob Hayden,
I, Bob Hayden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much for joining us. And I want to welcome my guest for our first show. He is the interim Chief of Police right this minute for the time being, until we appoint him Police Commissioner, but the interim Chief of Police, Mr. Bob Hayden. Bob, welcome to my first program.
Thank you, sir.
You're my first Chief of Police and my first program.
If I were a law-abiding, decent person in the city of Brockton, Bobby Hayden would be the guy that I'd want to have as police commissioner.
When our administration came in January, the chief and I shared the view that, Brockton was at a critical time in its history in terms of public safety. And that was, we had to make a decision as to whether we were going to passively allow criminals and drug dealers and gang members to take over control of the city, or we were going to fight back and reclaim streets and blocks and neighborhoods for the good people that live here. And so the chief chooses to fight back. I choose to support him doing that.
On the other hand, if I were a criminal and who wanted to disrupt people's lives and to deny them their freedoms and their liberties, Bob, you couldn't have a more serious adversity than Bobby Hayden. He's a person who is determined. Bobby Hayden is not a show horse, he's a work horse. He's somebody that when you need something done.
And I hope that this will be a clear message is being sent that if you sell drugs in the streets of our city, we will arrest you and put you away. So if you want to sell drugs, go find someplace else. We're not going to tolerate it here.
A couple of months ago, we came up with a list of the 50 worst criminals in Brockton. And today, 2 of the top 5 are no longer wandering the streets of Brockton. They're safely ensconced with us downstairs in a cell block.
The motorcycle officers also carry the chief's vision of true community policing, of getting all police officers to interact with the community. The motorcycle officers are very approachable. People approach them constantly and interact with them in a way that they would have never had the opportunity if that same officer was sitting in a police cruiser with the window rolled up and the AC on. So the motorcycle patrols have had a great impact. And then the most recent thing, if you've been down Legion Parkway, is he put up this tower. He came to me about a month ago and said, I've got a relationship with the transit police and they're willing to lend me this surveillance tower. And it goes about 40 feet up in the air and it's got cameras on it, and I said, Chief, go for it if you think it'll make a difference.
Mayor Carpenter and I got along great because the minute I met him, I knew that he had that type of a personality, and I wouldn't have been, I probably wouldn't have stayed here after what happened to me if I didn't have him to come back to. So I want to also give him a round. He has said he and I are so much alike. They were like Batman and Robin, and I asked him before I leave. I asked him before I leave to tell me who's Robin. Thank you. Cities and communities are made for good people, dads, moms, people that like to use playgrounds, people that like to take their little boy or girl out and hit a baseball too or throw a frisbee. We're not going to let people that aren't champions, that don't like people like us, destroy our way of life. And just thank you very much for listening to me, and appreciate the opportunity. I treasure the time that I'm here, and I'm just honored that I was able to be here for a while and see these guys at work. We're here to try to find the person that did this to this beautiful lady. And thank you for all your help. Thank you. Every time I pass a person on the street that was in worse shape than most of us are, I'd give them $5 or $10. I was sitting down on a wall talking to some of the homeless people down at Perkins Park a couple of days ago, and I really loved them. And I shook hands with them. I hugged them, told them that we care about as much about you as, rich white people. I think that's about it. Let me ask my wife.
That's all for now.
Thank you. Thank you.